It's Wax again with part 4 of the rhythm cheats. I hope you enjoyed part 1, 2, and 3. I think 3 started to get really exciting. 4 is going to pretty much hey, you tripping. You heard my last one where I did that little trappish type thing. I'm going to show you this rhythm cheat that all this stuff is built off of. What I'm going to do here first is I am going to take a hi-hat sample. All right. We will make it 4 beats. Sample from pad. Start, hit the pad. Let's see what that sounds like. All right, we're going to quick assign that to a patch. We're going to a patch this time. Let's show it up there. Quick edit that. All right. Now what I'm about to show you is mucho important here. Okay. You're going to type assign single. You're going to have your 1 shot off. We're going to bring this down to about 5. Your release, you'll see. Your release depends upon your sample. All right. We are going, since that's at 90, we're going to bring this down. We're going to make sure your loop mode's on forward. Let's bring it here. And we're going to press and hold the pad. Let's see what happens when you bring the endpoint in closer. Does anybody see where I'm going with this? All right. So what I did was I copied that to other pads. Now I'm going to show you something about when your release is up. When your release is up, watch what happens when I hit the pad. It just keeps playing. I'm going to leave it down so that you have to hold it. Now, I'm going to hold the pads. I made eight pads or so, but check this out. And these are set for 90 BPMs, which basically, I'll show you what I mean. Let me go to something else that's 90. Is it 90? All right, let me play it. Oops. This is set for 90. for this. That's a 16th note. 5, 6, 7, 8, 1 and 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. 20 and a 2 and 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a. Check it out. 8th note triplet. 32nd note. 16th note triplet. This is 32nd note there. 64th note. 64th note right here. This is a 128. All right, do y'all see where I'm going with this? This basically takes out, you don't need a roll button. Once you set these things up, and you're gonna do it by listening to your beat. Basically, you're gonna set. I did it by setting to a quarter note. Let me show you how I did that. I set it to a quarter note by let's play the beat. Go on to sample edit. I want to get one. It's a little slower. That's about right, about 29,482. Once you find your quarter note and you copy and paste it, if you take half of this number, you know that's your 8th note. So that would be 14,741 is your 8th note. To get a 16th note, you go half of the 14,000. So that'd be what, 7,000? What did I say? 14,741. So yeah, like 14,000, no, 14,000. So it's like 7,000, blah, blah, blah. But you just keep halving it. And let's say, just arbitrarily, this number was 30,000 and a half of that was 15. Well, to get the triplet, you would go in between 30,000 and 15,000, which is what, 22.5? It's 7,500 on top of the 15. So to get the triplet, you go in between those numbers, halfway in between the numbers. And to get the next number down, or double the number, 16 to 32, you would just half it as the sample gets smaller, if that makes any sense. So like I said, if this was 30 grand at an 8th note, then its 16th note would be 15,000, and a triplet in between the 8th note triplet in between would be 22.5. So I hope that makes sense. But this is what happens when you do this. This is what you get. Let me go back here. These patterns here. Check out the hi-hat. Another pattern. Super trap hi-hat patterns. Another pattern. Now I'm going to show you how easy this is to do once this is set up. The only hard part, and it's not even hard because once you know the math, it's only about what, eighth note triplet, 16th note triplet. I mean, 8 or 9 pads that you set up. But that's set for 90 though. When you change the BPM, it doesn't work when you go too far. But and the numbers don't have to be exact either, because then you're gonna start to hear like swinging it. Not even swing, but it'll slide. So you can do a lot of things with this. But I'm gonna show you how easy this is to do. Just by I'm under 4. Let me go to 240. Now check this out. This is just random. Do another one. I'm gonna do these all day long. This is easy. All day. It's all day long. This literally takes seconds. All random. Let me see. This is all random. And you could do these in real time too. I mean, you could sit there and you can input those in real time. But yeah, it's just so easy just stepping them in. Like I said, you don't need a roll button now. If you set your roll intervals, your hi-hats or whatever. But yeah, let me do a couple more. And you're going to get different effects when you play around this. With this is when you change it to like 16th notes, 120. You're going to hear the different effects that you get. This is all random. I'm just hitting the pads randomly. And that's on the 16th note interval as opposed to the 240. Like I said, this is just stuff you got to play around with. I could do this all day long. Yeah, that's let's see the other one. So that's that. This is what else it gives you. You hear that? That's a snare and sample edit. Hear the bounce of the stick on the snare, and all I did here was I set the brought my endpoint in, and I set up a loop point. So you hear that sticking action of the ghost note off the snare. And you set your endpoint longer to get less of a bounce. So like a buzz roll, press roll, part 2 to the first one I did. Yeah, and if with snares, let me see, you're gonna have to, where is it at? Change your release point a little bit, of course. Take that off. But you can get all kinds of you can get all kinds of rolls, 16th note rolls and whatever, just by setting your endpoints. I'm gonna show you what I did with that and the same thing. Right down here, this muted. I just did a real short pitch roll, and it's the same process. It's the same process as before with the hi-hats, except I pitched the individual snares, and I just had them just do their thing with the what the hell you call that? With the loop. I just had them looping it at certain intervals, and that's why it sounds like that. So that is a heavy trick, heavy, 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 heavy. Is there any other things that you should really know in here? So that release is important for how to sound. Sometimes on the attack, depending. Um, oh yeah, I exclusive grouped the hi hat so they would cut each other off when the other ones when the other ones jumped in. Oh, here's something else. Oh man, on a swing tip, check this out. Check this out. So what we have going on in here is there's a snare hitting here, but I made it rushed. I made it so the second snare when it looped around is early. So hear that? And then I had another pad that had another snare that now this one's late. Slightly late. So I'm just changing the timing to create a swing in those snares. But I could just as easily had this snare. Yeah, there's all sorts of ramifications with this technique, knowing what you know now. Um, you could do a whole lot of other stuff. Maybe I'll get into some of that stuff later. Yeah, man, maybe we'll see. Um, I'm sure some people got some ideas they can come up with it. But yeah, but I hope you dug the number 4, part 4 of the rhythm cheats. Waxing them out.